I'm laughing.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Pretentious Book Club.
Hi, friends.
We're super prepared for today. I don't know if you guys can tell.
We are ready to go, ready for action, born ready.
Oh, yeah. I'm hella tired. I just woke up from a nap like 10 minutes ago, ate like 3 brownies, and then I came in here to sit down and record in my bathroom. I am in my bathroom. So if it sounds a little echoey, that's why.
3 brownies. I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I had some donuts this morning, so.
Nice. I think we got this new like candle thing and it kind of smelled like fall. And so I think I was taking a nap and then I woke up thinking it's fall. And so in the fall, I eat a lot of sweets. And so I woke up and was like, I obviously have to have brownies now because that's what we have.
I love the way you said that. In the fall, I eat a lot of sweets, as if it's just like part of your regimen.
It is part of my regimen. Maybe that's why I like fall so much too. I let myself off the hook as far as like eating sweets goes.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, it's the holidays.
Oh yeah. From October to February for me, I'm like, it's fine. It doesn't count.
Yeah, same. Pretty much same. As soon as I start thinking about, summer's going to be here soon, then I'm like, oh God, wait, I shouldn't have been eating sweets for like 6 months straight. But
maybe I should like be healthy. I don't know.
Maybe I should have been actually not just completely letting myself go for 6 months. Anyways, that over there is Kendall Shaw, aka Dr. Spoons Palermo.
Hi, howdy. Over there is Ash O'Rourke, but you can call her Wheezy.
It ain't easy being wheezy. If you guys don't want to listen to our nonsense, because there will be more of it, and you only want to hear book stuff, you can use these skip codes in our show notes. They're there every week. So just a reminder, if anyone did not know. Although, I mean, most of you probably enjoy this nonsense, I would hope. I think that's why you're here. We all know you didn't actually come for the book. You came for our sparkling personalities.
You came because we're holding you hostage and you have Stockholm syndrome.
I kind of like that for us. I kind of like that vibe for us.
I like that too. I feel like it's how if we're being honest, it's what's going on, you know?
Yeah, it is. Anyways, how has your week been?
It's been okay. I'm trying really hard to have
convincing.
To have a positive attitude.
Aww.
It's like just one of those times where I'm like, I feel like being grumpy.
Ooh, that's how I feel too. I woke up and put on goth makeup today, and I definitely just wanted to be grumpy and still feel grumpy. So kudos to you for saying I'm going to try and be positive. I just embraced the darkness. I woke up today and embraced the darkness.
You're like, I'm going to be exactly who I want to be right now.
You know what? I think I'm going to be a bitch today. I think that's what I feel like being.
That's perfectly acceptable in my book. You know, sometimes you just have to do it.
Yeah. I tried really briefly not to. And I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those days. Yeah, I don't think so.
It's actually a bitch day. So
it's actually a bitch day. There's no way around that. So get out of my way, rest of the world.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
sorry.
No, go for it.
I was just going to say, I think last week I mentioned that I'm making an outfit and I have finished the pants. Ooh. I finished them and I have to do one more thing on the zipper, but basically they're done and they fit. And I am so proud of myself. Not gonna lie to you, I'm extremely proud of myself because they are like, I've never done anything with buttons or zippers, and I did. And they have pockets and pleats and buttons and zippers, and they're pants that fit me. And they were done on silky satiny fabric, which is hard to work with. So I'm kind of like extremely proud of myself.
I'm extremely proud of you too, and amazed and a little bit scared. How? That's fantastic. You were like, what if I did all the hardest stuff?
Yeah, and I did it in like 4 hours. I just sat down and did it all in one go.
Absolutely not.
I was like, never. Really proud.
I'm really proud of you too. That's amazing. Why am I not looking at these pants right now?
I actually meant to bring them over, but then I left them in the other room. But I can go get them if you want to see.
I would love to see them.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yay.
So listeners. Oh wait, my mic's still on.
Is that how it ends? I don't know.
Okay. I'm back.
I'm back.
Yeah, here they are. The zipper flap is not done yet, but they
oh my God, I love it.
And they have like a satiny stripe on the side.
These are so cool.
They're pleated. And they look good on my butt.
Oh my gosh, heck yeah.
They're my Elvis pants. I think I mentioned that last week, but I'm making the full outfit. So there's going to be
quite picture what you meant when you said Elvis pants, but I see it now.
You see it now, just flamboyant and loud.
Excellent.
And so there's a satiny jacket that's going to go with it.
Oh my God.
Along with kind of a slutty, lacy black top.
Okay, so, I love it. I love the whole look.
Thanks.
That's really fantastic. It's also got a little like Selena vibes. Honestly, if you're gonna do like the little like slutty top with like the jacket, I think that's very. I love
that.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I'm very impressed. I'm wearing one of my mom's old sundresses with no bra because you guys don't care.
No way.
If you're wearing, we haven't said it in a while, but if this is a no bras allowed podcast, so if you guys are wearing a bra, you better take it off right now. Absolutely not allowed here. We are here for comfort.
And we will find out. And you will be prosecuted.
You will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of this club's doctrine.
Yeah, our bylaws strictly state no bras allowed.
No, absolutely not. So Spoons, I hope you're not wearing a bra because you would be in violation. Okay,
I'm absolutely not. Don't even worry about it.
No, we both strictly adhere to the club's bylaws.
Oh yeah, I'm literally never wearing a bra when we record.
Excellent. Same.
Yeah, good for us.
That's funny. Cool.
Well, how was your week?
This week feels very, very long. This is Sunday, so we have had like a full week. We had a chicken massacre. That was unfortunate. I believe we have a fox problem. Although Javi did see like a pack of mutant wolf-looking dog things just come out of the wilderness a little while ago, not on our
like
property.
Coyotes?
No, like bigger than coyotes and like a pack. And it was weird. He said they looked like part like dog. He said they looked like part dog, part coyote. And I was like, what the hell? And apparently they were just like all together and like came out of the wilderness, saw him and like ran back in. And so I don't know what they are, but
that's freaky. Your mom.
But I think those are too big to get in. There is a hole under our fence, and we were letting our chickens free range officially, and they were having the time of their lives. They were so happy for like a week. And then all of a sudden my brother went out there to check on them, and they were all pretty much wiped out.
No.
Except for all the babies are fine because they're in their brooder. So the 9 babies are untouched, and 3 of our adult chickens have survived. The rest of them did not. So 4, we had 7. So 4 chickens were either taken or murdered. 2 were taken mysteriously, and then 2 were murdered.
Poor babies.
Very sad. And then it turns out we do have one rooster. Don Alejandro survived. He beat out the other rooster. It turned out we ended up with both of our Wyandottes were roosters. So he was injured, but he's fine now. I mean, he's traumatized. I think his leg might be injured, but he does not want to let us doctor him. No. So we've been trying to like keep his like little scritchies like clean with like this like iodine wash stuff. But yeah, anyway, so that happened this week, which was sad. But it was sad because I felt bad, and it was also frustrating because I'm like, well, now we can't let them free range. And then it was also frustrating because I'm like, that was a lot of months and effort to raise these 7 chickens.
Yeah.
They were just about the age to start laying eggs, to start giving back a little, contributing. So I'm like, now we just start from scratch. So now we have 12, and now we have 12 chickens total, and that's it, which is not many.
That's sad.
It is very sad. And the Keats are just wild birds. They're just big fat wild birds now. They're big old birds, but I don't know what to do with them yet. Yeah, they're not ready to free range yet. They'll get picked off by a fox, but they're 100% wild. They all react with sheer panic every time that you even approach.
What was that?
Like they've never seen a human before. Like every single day.
Oh
It's
my
pretty
God.
good. But I think that's pretty much been, I mean, that was definitely the most traumatic part of the week. And Caleb made brownies, which I ate 3 of today. And I made some cherry almond rolls. And I think I finally nailed my dough recipe. So there's that.
That sounds delicious.
They were good. Were they as good as my orange vanilla rum rolls? The bread was better. The flavor profile, I mean, just nothing could beat the orange vanilla rum. So I'm excited though. So now the next time I make those, they'll be made with better dough. So that's
good. Exciting.
All my life updates are just farm updates these days. I will give a shout out to my mermaid friend, Marissa. Mermaid Maru is her name. If you look her up on Instagram, she's adorable. And she sent me a letter just out of the blue. And she was all like, it was in this really cute little card with like kittens and books. And she's like, I was just thinking about how no one writes letters anymore. Aww. And so she just wrote me a letter. And I was like, you have no idea how thrilled I am to reply to this letter. I got this like really, I mean, first of all, I've got just tons of cool stationery that I've just been hoarding because I'm a hoarder for that kind of stuff, or a whore for that kind of stuff, you could say. And so I got these really cool, when hubby and I got married, his family crest, because he actually has one, which is cool. I got this like wax seal set made with his family crest. And so it's really cool looking. And I've always wanted to like put it on letters and stuff, but no one like sends letters back and forth anymore, which is partly my fault. But anyway, so I'm very excited and I'm going to use my little wax seal set and apply to this letter.
So exciting. I do letters with one of my friends and then sometimes with my grandma, but I don't have a wax seal set. That is like the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I got a wax seal set with the initial A on it when I was very, very young. And ever since then, I've been like, it doesn't hit right without that wax seal. Like it needs a wax seal or it doesn't hit right. It doesn't hit right. But the thing is, my handwriting is not that good. Like I can do a kind of pretty cursive if you're not trying to read it. Like I can read it, but I don't know if anyone else can read it.
Like if you like squint and it's blurry, it looks good.
Beautiful. Yeah, because I've had people go, oh, your handwriting's beautiful. And I'm like, oh, thanks. But like, I know no one else can read it. Like, it's not good. It's just, it kind of looks like different. And then my print handwriting looks like a child who just learned to write and is using their left hand when they're writing. That's what it looks like. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love seeing different people's handwriting. Like, I think it's so cute that everyone has their own little way of writing things. I don't know. It
is cute. I like it too. But what's always killed me is that like people will go, I'm sure you've gotten this too. They're like, oh, well, instead of like a group card or something, people are like, oh, here, well, you write it because you're writer. So you probably have a good handwriting. I'm like, you could not be farther from the truth. You would think I would have developed a nice handwriting because I have spent, literally countless hours writing in notebooks and stuff. Cause I do write by hand a lot. So you would think that my handwriting would be good. But
the only one who has to read it is you.
Exactly. I'm not writing this for an audience to see my handwriting. I know what it means. Sometimes I don't even finish words. And I'm like, yep, I know what that is.
That's like, it. That's all I need to know. Yeah.
That's it. And so it's actually it's kind of like how dancers, some of them like walk really heavy. And it was always funny because around campus, you could hear them like stomping by and people would be like, oh, the dance majors are walking by. But like, it's just so the opposite of what you would think because they're so graceful. Yeah. I feel like it's that same phenomena with people who write.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have amazing handwriting.
I don't think I've ever met like nobody in my major that I can really remember. Like great handwriting, like friends of mine or anybody. Like,
I know. Yeah. I think that we all felt like it was more important to get the content down that we wanted, not necessarily the style that we wrote down that content in. So
could be true.
My sister has beautiful handwriting and she can do like calligraphy and stuff, which I never learned.
That would be so fun to learn. They have those books, that you can like practice in. Yeah. I think that would be a fun thing.
Yeah, but see, I never even got to finish my like little cursive notebooks. I did enjoy them. They would like send you home with your homework little cursive notebooks. And then right before the letter F, they just stopped teaching cursive in our school altogether. So they didn't even finish teaching us the whole alphabet.
You got like the very beginning down.
Yeah. So I eventually finished teaching myself cursive, but it's a little bit different because before I finished teaching myself correct cursive, I just made up my own cursive for the last half of the alphabet because they never taught it to me. So now I write with this cursive that's a weird mismatch like of actual cursive and what my like 8-year-old brain was like, this is probably cursive for that letter.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, some of them I think I've also made up. Like some of them I know are correct, and then a lot of times I'm like, this looks like it should be the right thing, but I bet it's not.
Well, I feel like that's how everyone does it. Like I've written stuff that like the American founders or whatever like wrote by hand. I've looked at that stuff and I'm like, the heck kind of letter is that?
Yeah. What the hell are y'all doing?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not concerned. I think that's what everybody does.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Anyways, is there anything else you want to share? Should we get into the book for this episode?
Let's do the book.
Yay! Okay, this week we're doing The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde.
Yay!
Yay! Which is thrilling.
Applause.
Guys, this is one of my, I have said this before probably countless times. This is one of my favorite stories of all times. It is technically a play and not a book, but the good news for you people who don't like to read a bunch of stuff is it's very short, but it is fabulous. I have seen it multiple times on the stage. Actually, probably my favorite rendition of it was by Black Swan Youth Theater, which was like a bunch of teenagers, but it was unbelievably excellent. It was so good. My friend Valerie Warman ended up playing Miss Prism, and oh my God, it was just hysterical. And I think that we saw like their closing night performance. And so they were being like kind of wacky and surprising their director on some stuff. And like one of the characters ripped off the other character's mustache on stage, which was not planned, but it was so perfect for the moment. Like I can't even express to you. It was hysterical. And obviously not approved by the director, but it was a fantastic performance. It's even without all of that, like it is just a hysterically funny play. I obviously love it. We're not going to do an Oscar Wilde bio this time though, because we already did that in our Dorian Gray episode. Yeah. So if you guys want to hear all the details about our favorite boy, Oscar, you guys can go check out his bio in the Dorian Gray episode. But he's wonderful. And Carissa, my co-host on Scripturient Society, our sister podcast for writers, she gave me a shirt in college that was, you know, like those like shirts that are made out of like the entire text of a story or something. Mm-hmm. It was all of the text of The Importance of Being Earnest, but in a way where like the colors on the letters like made Oscar Wilde's face.
Oh, I love that. That's
it's
so
really good. I mean, it's got to still be somewhere. I haven't seen it in a while. I'm sure it's in the bottom of my drawer, but it's fabulous. And I'm so honored to grace my bodice with the face of Oscar Wilde.
God.
There's like no one else I'd rather represent. Between him and Mark Twain, I just could wear their faces around all day long.
There they are. My number one boys.
My men. I love these men.
I love men. And it's Oscar Wilde and Mark Twain.
Oh my God. The real dudes. God, I love them so much.
Really.
Anyways, yeah. Anyway, so I don't have to give the summary today. Spoons does, but I'm sure I'll be jumping in.
Oh yes. Feel free.
I forget. Did you have you read this before?
I had not read it before. I'd only seen the movie with you, which I loved. But yeah, so it was fun to read.
Yay! I'm so glad.
Yeah. So okay, basically, we have okay, how do I start? Sorry, I'm kidding. Okay.
We can start with the cast of characters.
Let's do the characters.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
No, you're good. I should have grabbed my book and brought it in here too, because I usually reference it and I didn't because I'm dumb.
So we have Algernon, who is
my favorite character.
Yeah, like if he's not your favorite character, I don't know what's wrong with you.
You are incorrect. Yeah.
He is very sassy. I love him.
He is so this goes again to I strongly feel that, oh my God, I just typed into my phone the importance of being wild instead of the importance of being earnest for Oscar Wilde.
Oh my God, I love that.
Hang on, I do need that on a t-shirt. Madison, my sister and graphic designer. I need a t-shirt that has Oscar Wilde's face on it.
I needed
to say importance of being wild.
And I want him to also have sunglasses on and like look cool.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. 100%. This is going to be the greatest thing that's ever happened in the world. I'm so glad we could birth this into existence. The importance of being earnest. Oh God.
Yeah.
So Algernon Moncrief. however you say his last
very
name.
good.
He's a darling boy and we love him.
He is. And then we also have Jack. And what's Jack's last name? Forgot. Anyway. Worthing. Yes, Mr. Worthing. So then I'll get to the others later, but Jack and Algernon are friends, and they're hanging out. And Jack, Algernon basically confronts Jack and is like, hey, I know that you want to marry my cousin Gwendolyn, but why the hell do you have this cigarette case that's like inscribed to Jack from Cecily?
With love from little Cecily.
Yes. Yeah. And he's like, what's that all about? And Jack's like,
he's like, that's it's my aunt. And he's like, interesting. Right.
And because Algernon thinks that Jack's name is Ernest, because that is what Jack goes by when he's in the city. Because Jack basically is leading a double life. So when he's at home with his ward, Cecily, his name is Jack. His name is actually Jack.
Jack Worthing,
Yes, Jack Worthing. But he tells everyone that he has this like brother who's always like, going around town, getting up in trouble. Yeah, named Ernest. Yeah. And so he uses it as an excuse to like go to town, like, oh, I have to deal with Ernest. Yeah. But really he is Ernest. He's using this as an excuse to go be a guy about town.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Which is hysterical. And because Algernon does the same thing. He calls it Bunburying because he tells everyone he has an invalid friend named Bunbury, and he'll always make an excuse like he can't go to dinner with someone he doesn't want to go to dinner with because he's got to go see his sick friend Bunbury, or he's got to go to the country to go visit his sick friend Bunbury. And so he calls it Bunburying. And it is the funniest thing. It is so funny. And so Jack is trying to convince Algernon that who Algernon thinks his name is Ernest, that this little cigarette case that Algernon had stolen previously from him, had just like stolen and kept. And throughout this whole scene, like, guys, you have to read this. He's like eating cucumber sandwiches that are not his cucumber sandwiches. And he's just like, his behavior is just, this goes back to my this is what I was saying before, my hypothesis that everything Oscar Wilde writes has some character in it that Oscar Wilde really identifies as. Like, I feel like this is like who Oscar Wilde kind of wants to be, is this kind of like lewd, like, but vivacious, very clever, kind of unbothered, accidentally very philosophical, but more like just entertained with being entertaining. I feel like that's because we've got a character like that in Dorian Gray, whose name I forget right now too, but I do feel like this is something that Wilde always does, and we love it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And and then you're reading and you're like, okay, well, this is my favorite character. So that's probably why everyone's like, I love Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde's like, I am my own favorite character.
Seriously.
Really, he's our favorite character too.
Algernon eats so much. He's constantly eating or talking about eating. And I love that for him.
I love it too. It's so good. It's so funny.
So, so then Gwendolyn comes, and she is Algernon's cousin. And so Gwendolyn and her mother come, and Gwendolyn and Jack, who she thinks is named Ernest, have been like seeing each other, and like they're into each other and all that. So Jack wants to propose to her, and so he does, but Gwendolyn reveals, like, she's like so excited. Obviously she loves him, but she's also like, I'm so glad your name is Ernest. I could never marry somebody whose name wasn't Ernest.
And he's like, what if my name was, I don't know, like Jack or something? And she's like, I don't like it. Nope, definitely has to be Ernest. It's not a very good name, actually.
And he's like, oh shoot.
Oh god.
Which is so crazy, and I love it for her as well. And so then, but she's like, yay, well, it doesn't matter because your name is Ernest. Isn't that great? And he's like,
haha, my name is definitely Ernest.
I love that for me, being named Ernest. And then Gwendolyn's mother,
Lady Bracknell.
Yes, she comes in, and basically Gwendolyn's like, we're getting engaged. And she's like, no, you're not. and I'm going to talk to Jack or Ernest by myself.
Yeah.
And so she talks to him and is kind of sizing him up. And that's
with the weirdest set of criteria ever, by the way. She's like, do you know nothing or everything? I feel like every man should know one. And he's like, nothing. And she's like, that's great. I prefer that. Nobody should mess with like something like the perfection of ignorance or something stupid. Like, she's crazy.
I loved it. I thought they were so funny. And it was just so great. I love everything she says. She's kind of so horrible, but I love every word out of her mouth. I think it's hilarious. And so during this like interrogation, Jack/Ernest reveals that he was basically found in a bag at this train station,
in a handbag at a train station.
Yeah. And so he doesn't know who his real parents are or anything, but his like the person who found him was Cecily's dad. So
yes.
like, yeah. So basically Cecily's sort of his adopted sister, kind of.
Yeah. That's why she's his ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, I actually don't know anything about my real family. And she's like,
well, that's
okay,
unacceptable.
Well, that's out of the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, you're definitely not marrying Gwendolyn.
She says that he unfortunately has lost both his parents, and she's like, both? That seems careless.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, how is this so
funny.
awful? And she like basically leaves saying, basically, you're not going to get engaged unless you can, what does she say? I recommend producing one or like two, both or at least one parent, as if you can just do that.
She's like, well, you better get on that if you want to marry Gwendolyn. He's like, great, I guess I'm screwed.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he's kind of like, dang it. He ends up he has already told Algernon about Cecily, of course, because Algernon found out, you know, through the cigarette case.
Yes.
So
and he's like, Algernon, you cannot and will never meet Cecily. I just need you to know you will never meet her. And Algernon's like, she's pretty, right? And he's like, yes, she's quite lovely and almost 18. And he's like, I think I do need to meet her. And he's like, I'll never ever tell you where she is.
You are not meeting her.
No.
But lo and behold.
Then he turns around and in front of Algernon tells Gwendolyn his country address, because Gwendolyn's thinking maybe she'll go see him when he goes to take care of business in the country. And Algernon literally he's over on the station, writes it on his cuff.
He writes it down. He's like, okay, taking notes. Interesting.
Yeah.
So of course, Algernon goes to visit the country house where he meets Cecily and tells her that he is Jack's brother, Ernest, which is hilarious. Little does he know, our girl Cecily, who is hilarious, by the way,
she is hilarious,
been hearing all about Ernest for a while and has decided she's in love with Ernest, even though she doesn't know him, and also he doesn't exist.
Yes.
And so she's like,
she's in love with Jack's wicked brother, Ernest. Yes. And so she's been writing letters to herself from him, as if they're from him. And she's got diary entries that basically say, like they talk and it's cute. And she's hanging out with Miss Prism before that, by the way, who's like kind of in love with like Reverend Chosbull or whatever his name is. And so that's like her nanny who's been there forever, and the other guy, whatever. But basically she has been writing diary entries that say like, so I'm sorry, there's just so much in the scene that's fabulous. And everything she says is also kind of nonsensical. Aside from Jack, everybody is a complete idiot, but so strongly holds to their values. They're really weirdly chosen values.
I think they're all geniuses, to be honest with you. I'm not even gonna lie.
Algernon would agree with you. But anyways, so they talk, they flirt, it's adorable. Algernon immediately falls in love with her, which is funny because he had literally just been like telling Jack that you should never get married and marriage is ridiculous and all that stuff. And then he's like, Cecily, do you think that would you ever marry me? Would you marry me? And she's like, how silly of you, we're already engaged. And he's like, what? Say what? And she's like, allow me to show you in my diary. And she's like goes back and she reads these entries of like how he proposed to her or whatever. And he's like, and this is all completely made up, but to her is real, which is a little bit like, you just proposed to this woman and she's saying she's had like a fake relationship with you.
It's fine.
Yeah, she's pretty. And they call her like smart or something too. And I'm like, that might be a stretch. I don't know.
Once again, I disagree. I think she is on another plane. Like, we don't even comprehend her intellect.
Honestly,
like,
I agree with you. I think that's correct. I think we just cannot comprehend. Cecily is living beyond us. She's like, evolved past us.
Yeah, she's galaxy brain all the time. That's what's
she
going
is
on.
Galaxy brain all the time. If I just got to hang around and do my lessons and learn German and write in my diary, I might be galaxy brain too.
God, I wish that was me. They're always complaining about that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I would kill to have your life.
Yeah, seriously.
I would love to just hang around and learn German and cross stitch. God.
I was literally just saying that today. I was like, I hate life because life is just all a bunch of having to do work. And I just want time to just like write books. Is that just so much to ask? Like, I'm not asking you to just like sit on the couch and eat potato chips. Like,
no, like I'll keep busy. I just hate working.
Yeah, I just want to have time. Well, I just want to have time to do the work that matters.
Yeah, I want to do stuff I want to do.
And Cecily has that time, but she doesn't really appreciate it. And she ends up telling Algernon that they were engaged and then it was broken off. But it's okay because they're engaged again because he apologized. And he's like, why did you, I'm hurt. Why did you break off our fake engagement? And she's like, well, everybody knows that a serious engagement is always broken off at least once or twice. And you're like, what?
That was my favorite part. Absolutely killed me because he was genuinely like, oh my God, why would you do that? Like offended.
He gets immediately into her weird narrative. He's like immediately invested. He's like, tell me, how did we meet? Like, what did we say? And he's like totally just accepting it. And it's good anyways.
Very funny.
It's very funny. And then Jack shows up in morning clothes because he's decided he's going to kill off his brother Ernest. He's going to tell everyone his brother Ernest is dead and he's done living this double life, basically.
It's so good. And so he's like, yeah, Ernest is dead. And they're like, really? and then he goes to there and he's like, what are you doing here? And Cecily's like, look, your brother Ernest is here.
He's like, I'm going to murder you.
He's like, no, he's not. And he's not staying.
Oh my God, it's so funny. And Miss Prism is like, well, this is great news. Why don't you look happy? I mean, if my, something to the effect of like, if my brother I thought was dead appeared to be alive, like this is good news. No, he's like, this is the worst news I've ever had. I'm going to kill him myself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, he's not escaping death. Actually, this is just gonna.
In fact, he's really clinched it with this.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious. And then, then Gwendolyn shows up. This is the next thing that happens, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Gwendolyn shows up and Algernon and Jack are like elsewhere.
Yeah.
And she shows up and meets Cecily and is like, oh, hi, it's nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And Cecily's like, great to meet you. And at first they're like, yeah, cool. And then basically they reveal to each other like, oh yeah, I am Ernest.
Engaged to. Yeah.
Yes, but they both think they're engaged to Ernest, but they're thinking of different Ernests, of course, because they're thinking of Algernon and Jack, who were both that pretended to be Ernest.
Yep.
So it's such a mess. And so then they're immediately both like, what the hell? And very annoyed.
What's so good, because at first Gwendolyn's like, oh, I can just tell you're a wonderful person. I always have a sixth sense about these things. Like, I'm never wrong on my first impressions. You're a wonderful person. And then they basically end up revealing that they're both quote unquote like engaged to Ernest. And then they both like, well, you must be wrong. You must be wrong. And then they get just like really bitchy and have a really like passive aggressive tea time. And then they end up like full on fighting. And Gwendolyn says something like, oh, I knew you were an awful person. My first impressions are never wrong. And you're like, Gwendolyn, what?
It's so funny.
It is. It's so good.
They're so passive aggressive. That's the best part. I think them just being like, oh, how interesting for you. Hating each other. But then I love it because when the boys come back out, they're like, oh God. And they're both like, what the hell is going on? And so it all gets revealed basically.
Yes. Jack's and then the girls are like lying. Best friends again because they're like, oh my God, my poor Gwendolyn, my poor Cecily, that their fiancés lied about their names because they both wanted to be. Oh, I think I forgot to say the same thing for Algernon. Cecily also said that she wants to only marry a man named Ernest.
Yes. It's both of their criteria. Honestly, they're probably soul sisters because they just both have this insane idea.
Yeah,
And,
they are.
and they immediately become besties after this. So I did love that for them.
It was good, especially considering the intense aggression that was just happening between them a moment before.
So it's before bros, guys. Come on.
Yeah. And the bros are like, we are in such deep shit.
Yeah. Oh God. And so also Algernon and Jack have both arranged to be christened with the name Ernest, like later that day. Because they're both like, well, I have to be named Ernest or else you won't marry me.
Yeah.
And so then everything kind of comes to a head when lady, what's her name? Forgetting her name.
Bracknell?
My girl. Lady Bracknell.
Your girl. I could never claim her as my girl. She kills me.
She's hilarious. Lady Bracknell shows up because she followed Gwendolyn. And she is like, what on earth is going on? And so then she starts kind of getting into like the Cecily Algernon thing too.
Yes.
And she's like, what is going on here? And basically grilling Cecily. And so then Jack is like, I absolutely do not give my consent for them to be married.
Absolutely not.
Because Cecily is my ward and it's not happening. And she's like, well, why not? And then he's like, I won't let them marry unless you let me marry Gwendolyn. And she's like, well, absolutely not.
She's like, that's not happening.
And so it's all a mess. The Reverend comes and he's also like, hey, are we doing a christening or what?
What? He's like, I got two of these on the clock. So like,
and then they're like, what? There's no way. And so everything is going crazy. And that's when he mentions Miss Prism, the nanny. And Lady Bracknell's like, wait, Miss Prism? And he's like, yeah. And so they bring Miss Prism in. And Lady Bracknell's like, where is the baby? And she's like,
which just like everyone in the audience was like, what? Wait, what baby? What are we?
It's like so chaotic right now.
It is so good.
And they're like, she's like, the baby 28 years ago that you left in a train or like you lost the baby. And she's like, yeah, so here's what happened with the baby. I was writing a novel at the time. And I accidentally switched my novel and this baby and put the book in a bassinet and the baby in the what's it called?
In the handbag.
In the handbag.
Yeah.
And I left it at a train station. And Jack is like, okay, this is very important. Which train station was it? And so she's like, the Victoria station. And he's like, oh my God, that was me. And so basically Miss Prism was the one who lost Jack. And that you find, and he's like, oh my God, you're my mom. And she's like, oh no, I'm not your mom. Lady Bracknell's sister is your mom.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? So this means that Jack is Algernon's older brother. And unfortunately, Gwendolyn's cousin, which I feel we do not discuss.
No one discusses it. Oscar Wilde was like, I don't have a problem with cousin lovers. Ask Thomas Hardy. We're on the same page.
Why does it always come back to this for us? So interfering.
I don't know. I need another t-shirt that's got cousin lovers and a big like X through it. Like,
oh God.
That is obviously, it is not only in our bylaws, but also in the laws of our nation. Okay. We don't know cousin lovers. How many times?
Recognize cousin lovers. It's not happening. But apparently we're doing it now. And they are first cousins, actually.
They're first cousins.
This is way worse than I even thought about a second ago.
This is bad. It's bad. It's very bad.
Oh God. But nobody says anything about it. We're just going with it, I guess. Whatever. So Jack, so then there's still the question though of what's his real name?
Yeah.
And Lady Bracknell, oh my God. Yeah, she's like, well, of course your name's after your father, although I can't really remember his name right now. And Algernon's like, I don't know.
His own father, Algernon, can't remember his own father's name.
So they look in like this military ledger or something, right? And lo and behold, his name is Ernest. And then Ernest's name is Ernest John Worthing, or whatever his last name is. And so he was telling the truth this whole time. That his name is both Ernest and Jack.
Ernest John Worthing. It's unbelievable.
It is the funniest thing of all time.
And Gwendolyn's like, fantastic. We can get married, cousin of mine. I cannot wait to marry you, my first cousin. His name's Ernest and he's my cousin. OMG, the
Oh my
perfect
God.
man.
This could not get better for me, Gwendolyn.
Lady Bracknell's like, fully approve. Absolutely. This is the best case scenario.
This is great. This is awesome. Oh, and he was also not lying about having a brother who was a guy about town.
Yes. He ended up telling the truth, aka being earnest, the entire time. Oh my God.
That
I love it
is
so much.
literature. That is theater. That is drama. That is
comedy.
That is comedy.
Is everything to me.
It's the funniest thing anyone has ever done. I'm just gonna say it.
It's really hard to think of anything funnier that's ever been written. Like it really
is. I literally can't.
I don't think I can either. And that like, it's so funny the whole time, and then it culminates in that, and it's just like the shock, the last, like watching this in person, like on the stage, like the last 20 minutes of the play is just a bunch of bombshells, one after the other, and they're all hysterical, and they're all so unexpected. The whole audience is like doesn't know what to do for the last 20 minutes. We all just we're just gripped. It's insane. It is absolute complete chaos. It
is so funny. Like nobody could have done this but Oscar, you know?
No, absolutely.
Incredible work was done. God, it's hilarious.
Incredible. Yeah. And so then they're going to get married. Like Gwendolyn and Ernest John Worthing are getting married, aka Jack, and Algernon and Cecily are getting married. And then Miss Prism and Chasuble, I believe, end up getting married as well, because they've had kind of a secret romance kind of thing going this whole time. And Lady Bracknell is, I guess she's pleased, whatever.
She's vibing. She's like, this is exactly what I wanted. I knew I had all these rules for a reason. I knew I was correct about everything all the time.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, and what else? This is exactly how I expected things to go. And so then like Ernest, Jack, whatever, he closes with like the title of the book line, until now I've never understood the importance of being earnest.
He drops that title.
Boom. He does. It's one of the best title drops of all time, in my opinion.
It's so great. You can just imagine like, applause in the theater. Everyone's laughing on their feet. Love it.
Absolutely. And we were, and it was wonderful. I was like, I would like to watch this all over again. Rewind from the top, everybody.
I want to go see it. Done. I would love that.
If a theater troupe is ever doing it in the area, we need to go see it.
We should totally go.
Yeah, there's nothing like seeing it in person. I actually auditioned for this play once at a community theater, like a community, like normal, like adult theater. And they offered me the role of Cecily. And then I had like time commitment problems, so I couldn't go. Aww. And it was really sad because I auditioned and I got the part that I wanted. I wanted to be Cecily. So I was like, I'm really sad.
That would have been, you would have been so good.
Thank you. I could have played kind of ditzy, but also like kind of like transcendent.
Yeah. She just understands more than anybody else.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Anyways, what was your favorite part of this book?
My favorite part is the ending. Yeah, I love the big reveals. It's so funny. The like full circleness of it. It's so absurd. That's what I love about it. It's like this absurd. Would only happen in a play, and I absolutely adore that.
Yeah, I agree. My I think favorite part is really anytime Algernon is speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, everything he says is hysterical. When he's eating the cucumber sandwiches, the very beginning is one of my favorite scenes, but also when he's eating the muffins.
I love the muffins.
Between him and Jack. It's just a fantastic scene between both of them. It is so funny. And then the ending scene is so funny. It's so good. And I mean, all these scenes just made me have a crush on Algernon even more. And then Black Swan Youth Theater had the audacity to cast a beautiful boy for the role of Algernon. He was a very handsome young man. And I was like, well, I'll never love again.
This is it for me.
Yeah. And then it was, and I met Javi, who's he's kind of Algernon-ish, like with more profanity, but it's the devil may care attitude. I'm just soft for that. I just really like it.
Goodness gracious.
It's good. But they did cast like the perfect dude to play Algernon, like kind of like that. He's definitely supposed to be an attractive dude. And very like debonair and kind of like ritzy, like definitely like kind of ritzy, like very Oscar Wilde-ish. That's what I'm saying. I think Algernon was just like, what if I was in this play? And then he just put himself in play.
I feel that there's no way Algernon's not bisexual. I'm just gonna say it.
No, there's not. There's absolutely. He's 100% bisexual. He has to be.
He is.
And this brings me back to my other hypothesis about Oscar Wilde, which is that if I lived in Oscar Wilde's time, I would be hopelessly in love with this man who would never love me back. Like, I know I would be in love with Oscar Wilde.
I would too. I would fall all over him, because
I would be like, I don't even care that you'll never love me in return. I'm devoted to you, sir.
Yeah, for real. I totally understand you. What was your favorite least favorite part?
That's a great question. I loved all of it. Lady Bracknell's kind of a bummer. Actually, I think I don't like when Gwendolyn comes in kind of being a bitch. I also feel like she just toys around with Jack, like, because she thinks it's fashionable, and I just don't ever approve of that. But she definitely just like toys with him, and that makes me sad. I think that's probably my least favorite part.
Yeah, valid. I think my least favorite part is cousin lovers. Just the concept.
I should have said that
it's included there, you know.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't they just have been friends of Algernon's or something, or even like fifth cousins? I don't know.
Cousins. I don't know. No,
a little
Oscar
better.
Was like first cousins or nothing. And we're like, nothing. Oscar, no.
How about nothing? Okay.
He's like, nope, gotta be first cousins, and moving on. Let's see. What about favorite characters?
Algernon.
Yeah, Algernon. I mean, obviously. Least favorite character, Lady Bracknell.
I guess, but also I love her. I don't know if I have a least favorite character. I like all the characters.
No, I like them all as well. Actually, you know what? I think Gwendolyn's my least favorite character. I take it back. Lady Bracknell's more amusing to me. I think Gwendolyn was also the least amusing to me. Like, I really did not want to go for Gwendolyn when I auditioned, because I was like, she's kind of a buzzkill. Like, she's funny because you see her like being a buzzkill next to these other characters.
She's kind of mean, honestly.
She is. She's kind of mean, and she's very shallow, and so is Algernon, but like in a different way. Like, Algernon's kind of like fun not buzzkill. He's like kind of like a fun jerk, whereas Gwendolyn is a buzzkill and a jerk, and so I don't enjoy it. And Lady Bracknell at least is hysterically wrong. See what else we should do. Quotes, favorite quotes.
Oh God, there's just so many. This was really hard to pick.
This is very, very difficult. I'm literally scrolling through them on my phone because every freaking line of this play,
they're all funny,
like worthy of being a favorite quote.
Can I do two?
Yes, of course.
Because they're so funny. Okay, so this also, I could have picked like 15 others, but these are just two that I thought were funny. Okay, so one is Lady Bracknell after the reveal that Jack was like a foundling child. She says, to be born, or at any rate bred, in a handbag, whether it had handles or not, seems to me to display a contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life that reminds one of the most excesses of the French Revolution. And I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to?
Oh my God, she kills.
So funny. She's like, how dare you? That's so indecent of you.
That is so
This reminds
French
me just of the French Revolution. It's like the funniest escalation I've ever seen.
That is so funny.
And then my other one is, this is when Jack's talking to Algernon, and he says, I'm sick to death of cleverness. Everybody is clever nowadays. You can't go anywhere without meeting clever people. The thing has become an absolute public nuisance. I wish to goodness we had a few fools left.
Oh my God, it's such a good one.
I love that one.
I love that one too.
I'm like, I agree with you. Let's get some idiots back. I love idiots
back out here.
I just love like nice idiots. That's the best kind of person, you know.
I agree. I also like the like really confident idiots. It's like my favorite thing. And my mom does not like this about me because they say don't argue with a fool because it makes you the fool, right? Mm-hmm. And I agree in the sense that if you argue with a fool and you think that you're going to change their mind, that's very foolish of you. However, if you're thinking, what a fun game we can have arguing with this fool, because this argument will go nowhere but to entertain me, That's some delightful shit right there. And my mom hates it so much. She's like, why are you arguing? And I'm like, because it can go nowhere. There's no way to resolve this. This could just go on forever. Isn't it great?
This is your Aries chaos coming out is what it is.
It is. It is. It's so funny. I'm so glad we have some fools in the world though, because what else? Who else
Jack
would I
is
have
right.
fun with? He is
Clever
correct.
people are so annoying. Like
clever people
enough.
are boring. I don't want to talk to clever people anymore. I just want to talk to fools all day long.
Only want to talk to dummies.
Yes.
And I want to be a dummy.
I want to be a dummy and I only want to talk to dummies. Oh God, that's so funny. Listen, there's so many. Okay, I'll do one from the muffin scene because it's a very good scene.
I almost picked the muffin scene.
It's good. It's basically they're eating muffins. The girls have basically just left them outside the yard. They've gone in the house. They're mad. All the truth has just come out. And the men are like, well, we're about to lose these women that we're in love with. What do we do? And they're like panicking. And then Algernon is just eating muffins. He's just like eating like a whole tray of muffins for himself. And there's tea cake there. And basically Jack is like, you're eating all of my muffins. Just eat some of the tea cake. And he's like, I don't like tea cake. You eat the tea cake. And he's like, I don't like tea cake. And he's like, some host you are. And it's so good. And here's and then Jack starts eating the muffins too. And then and Algernon's like, bro, why are you eating the muffins? I thought you said it was indecent to be eating muffins right now. And he says, good heavens, I suppose a man may eat his own muffins in his own garden. And then Algernon says, but you have just said it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins. Jack says, I said it was perfectly heartless of you under the circumstances. That is a very different thing. Algernon says, that may be, but the muffins are the same. And it's just wonderful.
They do spend a lot of time on the muffins, and it got funnier like the longer it went on, you know?
It's so good. This is another good one. I think this is something that Cecily says. I don't like novels that end happily. They depress me so much.
Yes.
She says a lot of weird stuff like that where you're like, is this genius or is this nonsense? And the line that she rides is so fine.
Oh, it's so good. But Algernon does the exact same thing. Like
yes.
They both say like things that are very like hypocritical or something, or
yes.
like nonsensical, honestly.
Completely
and you're kind of like, wait, is there some wisdom in that?
Yeah, you're like, is this actually really deep? Because that's kind of Oscar Wilde's thing, to be like, we're all having a good time, nonsense, we're all happy fools here. And they then say something that you're like, wait, that's insanely deep. Like that's his whole move. And that's these two.
Yeah.
Like Cecily says when she first meets him, like I think she asks Algernon if he's a sensible man, and he's like, not at all. And she says, oh no, he says something like, it's good that you write a diary or something, that way you'll catch yourself like a sensible man. And she says, oh, I don't think I would like to catch a sensible man. I shouldn't know what to talk to him about. Which is so good.
Cecily's lines about her diary are really funny too. She says something like, oh, I always have to have something sensational to read on a train.
Yes. It's always good to have your diary with you so you have something sensational to read. It's
so good.
So
or
funny.
she also says, I laughed out loud at this. She was like, he says something like, oh, you write a diary? And she's like, yes. And it's like filled with only my most personal thoughts. So it will be published and I'll get you an advance copy if you wish, or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, can I read it? And she's like, not until it's published. It's my own personal thoughts. And you're like, Cecily.
So funny.
She's super funny. I'll just do one more quote, although they could go on forever and ever. I want to say this is something that Gwendolyn says. If not, it is her vibe. It's to be natural is such a very difficult pose to keep up. And I was like, yeah. See, that's one of those that's like, that just feels really deep. Like, I think it's very true. Like, I've seen all these people on Instagram. This is what I feel like cottagecore. This is a quote to me about cottagecore. It is so much work.
You're like, it's so not difficult.
Cute. It's not cute. It's so much difficult. It's so difficult to look natural, to keep up a natural looking pose, and to look cute while you're doing it, because it's not actually cute. Anyways, those are just some of the best.
One of the other ones that was kind of like that was when Algernon was like, okay, after dinner, do you want to go do this? And he's like, oh no, Jack was like, oh no, I hate looking at things. And he's like, okay, what about listening to music? No, I hate listening to things. He was like, okay, we could go do this. He's like, no, I hate talking. And then he's like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to do nothing. And he's like, oh, such hard work to do nothing.
Oh my God, it's so good. Oh, he's so funny. And there's that whole bit with the cucumber sandwiches at the beginning and his butler Lane, who just knows Algernon so well. He's very like straight faced, but just like goes with the nonsense. Like this whole time, like he got cucumber sandwiches specifically because Lady Bracknell, his aunt, was coming over and she requests them. And then he proceeded to, when Jack comes over right before Lady Bracknell's going to get there, Algernon proceeds to sit there, spout this beautifully foolish rhetoric of nonsense and eat every single one of the cucumber sandwiches. And then Lady Bracknell shows up and she's like, where are my cucumber sandwiches? And he's like, to the butler, he's like, I mean, Lane just told me that there are no cucumbers in the market, not even for ready money. And she's like, wow, not even for ready money. Interesting. It's just, it's so funny. Algernon's character is
hilarious. And then
like a deity to me.
What deity? I pray to the Church of Algernon. And then that actually sounds legit.
That does. Actually, wait. Do I need to name my son Algernon?
Whoa. I can't believe you haven't thought of this before, honestly.
I haven't either. Algernon Dragonslayer O'Rourke.
Algernon Dragonslayer Aeschylus O'Rourke.
This just gets better and better. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell Javi.
Or maybe you can have two. First one Algernon, second one Aeschylus, and they're both Dragon Slayer. And
what if they're twins? How good is that? These are our twins.
Algernon and Aeschylus.
Algernon and Aeschylus.
That's the most metal thing I've ever heard.
That's kind of amazing. Named after two of the best and most heroic, actually characters from plays. They're both from plays.
It's true.
It's true. Although Aeschylus is the antithesis of Algernon.
Yeah, they're very opposite.
If we had twins and their personalities didn't end up being like Algernon and Aeschylus, that'd be really difficult. Like if Algernon was kind of serious and Aeschylus was kind of nonsensical, that would be difficult. I'd be like, I'd be like Googling how to change a birth certificate. Like you have to switch.
We have to switch them. This isn't gonna work.
It's not gonna fit. No. See, what else do we do? What did we learn from this book / play?
We learned the importance of being earnest.
That's what I was going to say. I think we learned it's important to be earnest, both in name and in honesty.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think that we learned
that it's careless to lose your parents.
It's God. Any orphans listening to this? How dare you?
Oh my God, so careless of you. It's so awful. She's such an awful person, and they just all accept it.
That's so funny.
Oh my God. I'm glad she didn't get any cucumber sandwiches. Lady Bracknell does not deserve them.
I don't even know because so much of it is so silly. Like
it is so silly. This is the thing.
Feel like
it's just like little like nuggets of like, ooh, that's actually kind of smart and true. It's not like any overall lessons because overall you don't want to follow the example of any of these. I mean, that's what we learned is do not follow the example of any of these characters.
Yeah. But I think you're right. Some of the little nuggets, you have to parse it out. But I think some of them are nice. Like,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of it. I feel like a lot of it comes down to kind of like not taking things so seriously because Algernon and Cecily are the ones with all the wisdom and they're both very much like, I'm just chilling. And I'm like, I love that for you. Maybe life would be better if we all did that.
If we all just chilled a little more. I think absolutely. I think that's a great lesson to learn. Maybe just like relax. The important things in life happen when you're just kind of chilling.
True.
Just kind of chilling.
Wait. One more favorite quote.
Hell yes.
You reminded me of it with the sandwiches, but he what is when he's saying Algernon is like talking about going to eat dinner and he says something like I hate it when people don't take meals seriously, it's so shallow of them.
I just passed that quote. It's such a good one.
It's so funny. I was like,
so
God,
shallow.
He's so right.
Yes.
If you can't appreciate the small things like eating a yummy meal, what is wrong with you?
He also has some really excellent quotes about music because at the beginning he's like, I don't play something to the effect of I don't play the piano well, but I do play loudly or something to that effect. And it is good. He's like, anyone want to come listen to me play the piano? And they're like, absolutely not. And he's like, great, I'll go to it.
Amazing.
It's fantastic.
What's the one about flirting? Sorry.
Oh no, you're
good. What about flirting with your husband? He's like, it's like airing out your clean laundry.
Yeah. He's like, you would never believe how the other day a woman was flirting with her husband across the table. in public, and women are just going around these days more and more just flirting with their husbands. It's positively indecent. It's like airing your clean laundry in public.
So funny.
So good.
Oh,
he has a line too about that I just read to Javi the other day. There was something about like all the romance isn't falling in love. When you get married, all of that ends. I do hope that if I ever get married, I immediately forget it that I have, basically. You're like, bro. He's like, see, sometimes you definitely don't want to take his advice on. He's definitely very incorrect about a lot.
You have to pick and choose there, but you know.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of discernment.
It's
where
like
these characters come in.
It's like you're mining for gold and you have one of those little things that like shakes all the dirt out. Yes.
Yeah, you got to really shake that sifter thing for
the nuggets there.
Yeah, for Algernon's nuggets. That's funny. I don't like
say
that. I regret that intensely and immediately. I don't want to mine for Algernon's nuggets. That's
no.
Ew, I don't like saying
it.
Enough. And that's the end of That Pretentious Book Club.
Okay, bye guys. See you next week.
Oh wait, we have to how many pinkies up?
5.
10, 20. I would give it so many.
Yes, 1,000 pinkies up.
1,000 pinkies up for my man, Oscar Wilde.
Ugh, only the
man
best
I would
for
have
our
given
boy.
My life for, though he would have not have looked twice at me, and I don't even care.
I think he would have. I think that he was somebody who paid attention, but like was very like nice and funny to everybody, probably, unless he hated you.
Yeah.
And so then you fall in love with him even more.
About you.
Yeah, exactly. While he's being nice and funny to you, he's like looking at you like, oh, it's so funny that she does that, and then he's gonna make fun of you later.
See, I love that.
Oh, me too.
That's romance.
If Oscar Wilde was like starting a cult, I would join. That's something I know I would do.
It's really alarming to me because I do like a lot of research on cults because it fascinates me. And I always think like, would I follow that person? And I usually go, no, I don't think so. I'm relieved to say I don't think so. I think I would like notice sooner than that. Just based on life experience I've had up to this point. But even with all that I know and have experienced up to this day, if Oscar Wilde were to rise from the grave and start a cult, would I be able to? No, I would absolutely join that cult. I would be the most devoted member of that cult. I'd be evangelizing for the cult of Oscar Wilde.
The Church of Algernon.
The Church of Algernon, exactly. Oh my God. That's good. Well, let's see. What are we going to read next week?
Oh, shoot. I always forget to look.
I do too. See, because I'm recording in the bathroom at such a small space, I can smell the fact that I need to add more deodorant. It's very gross. We're very gross over here. I'm like some little bathroom troll. God. I'm recording in the bathroom. This is not a good look for me. Not a good look for me.
It's Midnight for Charlie Bone.
Oh, you
this
added
is the
that
one. I did not add it.
Yes, you did. I never even heard of it.
We talked about this before. Neither of us know why we added it or like why we're reading it.
I've never heard of it.
I had never heard of it either. I thought you added it.
I thought you added it.
I literally don't know where it came from or what it is.
Okay, listeners, did one of you guys recommend that to us? I'm guessing it's a book rec that we have completely forgotten.
I guess maybe I could have added it. I did not read. I've never read it. And
I've never read it. And I've never read it. I think I've never heard of it. But I don't remember.
What if this isn't a real book? What if like we just dreamt it and like happened to put it on there and like
no, I have it on my bookshelf because I ordered it because I saw it when I was ordering thrift books and I was like, the fudge is this book? I was like, I guess Kendall knows.
I literally have no idea.
Okay, so listeners, please help us. If you recommended this book, please tell us, because then I can go back and find the message. I will look, but often I have a hard time finding those messages. And the other thing is, I was so good this season with writing down who gave us book recs next to them. And there isn't one for that. So I'm like, why would I include a book rec and not put the recommender's name? Somebody was like so intent on having us read this book. They like hacked into my Google Drive.
Must have been it.
And was like, it has to be here.
Or it was the author. The author did it.
Midnight for Charlie, which I think it's like isn't it like a early 2000s, like middle grade?
Like a middle grade book, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love how we
and
have
I think
no
it's
idea.
fantasy, but we don't know anything about it. Yeah, please reach out if that was you. We won't even be mad if you hacked our Google Drive. I just want to understand.
Yeah, just like, so we don't think we're crazy here. What happened?
I mean, I know I am crazy, but like, and my memory is bad, but like really that bad? I hope not.
I hope not too for me, because I have no memory of this. I'm like,
were we just like really drunk together one night and we're like,
I don't know.
Guys, this is such a mystery.
Oh man.
So I have no idea what we're bringing to you next week. It will be this book, but we know nothing about it. I'm assuming anything. It's a book rec. It could be awful, or it could be the best book in the world. I don't know.
I hope it's the best book in the world. And it was like Providence that we got it on our list.
I hope so too. I hope God was like, sent an angel down to my Google Drive and was like, they need to read this.
That's true. God himself hacked your Google Drive.
He could do it. So next week we're going to read The Mysterious Midnight for Charlie Bone.
Yay!
And I don't remember the author, but I'm 99% sure it's the only book named Midnight for Charlie Bone. It's pretty specific, so you guys can go check it out.
The author is also not on here. Like, this is just from the ether.
I genuinely have no idea how that ended up there. I totally thought you added it. Okay, well, anyways, If you guys want to follow us during the week for more bookish comedy and nonsense, people really enjoy our bookish memes on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We are That Pretentious Book Club. You can also email us if you have book recommendations. Perhaps if you were the Midnight for Charlie Bone book recommender, or if you have other books that you want to mysteriously slip into our Google Drive, you guys can email us at contact@storysirenstudio.com or message us on social media. You can also check out storysirenstudio.com for some really cool merch. We've got some inside joke merch. We've got some book club merch. We've got some, what's his name? Mary Brandybuck,
my
is
boy.
Excellent. And soon we'll have some Oscar Wilde merch, and I believe also some Fierce Little Acorn merch. So guys, the store is expanding. We are getting like deep into the literary inside jokes, and it is a wonderful place to be. If you guys enjoyed the pod, if you guys wouldn't mind leaving a review below, that would be fantastic. And if you guys could please go check out our Patreon, that would be great. All of our video episodes are up there for you guys to enjoy, plus some bonus episodes and other content. It's just a great way to support the pod so we can grow the pod, because we do take our own time and money out to do this. And it will be free for you guys always. I don't ever want to charge people for joining a book club. I think that's ridiculous. But if you guys want to support us there, you can definitely do that. Again, you would go to Patreon and search for Story Siren Studio. Anyways, we will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us. And until then, keep your teacups full,
your pinkies high,
and your book club
pretentious.